Hey guys, welcome to the Ball and Breakfast Podcast. My name is Gio, and we're here to preview the big fixture for the weekend tomorrow. Manchester City hosting the Liverpool Football Club. What a fixture! First versus what? Second. Some things change, but some things don't change for long. Jurgen Klopp is back on the hunt again. Now, as we enter this football game, there's a couple things to think about. There are a couple things that really are the keys to the game. And I want to just get straight into it. First of all, I'll apologize in advance because I got one comment that kind of complained as to I'm never doing the breakfast part of the Ball and Breakfast podcast. So, just to show you, today I'm showing you my typical breakfast. It is 5 boiled whole eggs with some Himalayan salt, accompanied by my trusty Fiji water. I'm a high protein kind of guy, big gym guy, into my health, into my body, into my skin. So yeah, that's where that comes from. But let's get right into it. Manchester City versus Liverpool. Now, I think the most logical place to start is to say Jeremy Doku versus Trent Alexander Arnold. I think that's, however, the third most important aspect of the game. Third most. But let's dive into that. This season, I must say, for all the frustrations of the past that Trent Alexander Arnold has given me, this season he's been particularly better on the defensive side of the ball. And while his assist numbers have dropped off, he still dictates the tempo of most of the things that Liverpool does. So, if there was ever a stat for a hockey assist, I believe Trent would be leading the league. But in overall assists, he's off the right-hand side corner. He's on the right-hand side corners, but sometimes he's off it because I've seen Dominic Zaboslai taking the right-hand side corner kicks. And it's good to just have that diversity in terms of delivery because Dominic Zaboslai is more of a power straight line deliverer, where Trent is more like a Picasso. He paints pictures all over the place. And therefore, those numbers have tailed off. Not a bad thing because his overall performance has been far better. I think the commendations that he got after the Newcastle game really kicked him on defensively because he put on a masterclass in that game, allowing us to come with 10 men and win 2-1. However, that being said, Jeremy Doku is a different animal. He's different than your typical Premier League winger. He is more laterally driven than, what you to say? He's more horizontally. He drives more horizontally than vertically. And what I mean by that? Let's take Rashford, for example. Rashford, very pacey. However, his lines, where he's driving to, is forward cutting on the right and shoot. Very rarely does he go on the outside and trying to deliver. When you look on Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, similar traits, driving to get to a point where their dominant foot is in play and kind of iron rubbing their defender. Jeremy Doku is not that. Jeremy Doku will go to the byline, cut it back 6 times, then go back. I swear Jeremy Doku doesn't know what he's doing until he does it. And that in and of itself is dangerous because it forces our defense to have to be on their toes. He reminds me a lot of Alan St. Maximan, but just a little bit better finished product. And in the team that he's in, with the instructions that he's getting, there's no surprise about that. I'm very worried about that, but it's not my main concern. So that's my third. I'm going through our top three. So that's my third most concerning aspect of the game from a Liverpudlian side. The second most concerning aspect of the game is where and who are we going to line up in the front three? I'm kind of more leaning towards Nunes, Jota, and Salah. Simply because I've never seen one. Let me start here. One of the more irritable things about Luis Diaz is how slow or his inability to know when to release the ball. I am concerned by his inability to supply people like Darwin Núñez. Dribbling too much is not the way to play Manchester City. And hence, I would go with Diogo Jota. Experience playing against City, scored against City, not intimidated by City. Not to say that Lewis is. In addition to which, he's been on quite the form tier. He's been playing extremely well. And I see for the first time a rapport going on between him and Darwin. And we already can see that Darwin and Salah have a good rapport in terms of their relationship on the field, understanding as to what the other one wants to do. And that leaves me to my biggest concern. Our midfield versus their midfield. I haven't watched the Klopp press conference as yet. I have to say that. I am worried about seeing Alexis Mac Allister playing in this game. You will not outcraft Manchester City. You can outpower, you can outpace, but you're not going to outcraft. You're not going to play the passing game better than Manchester City. You cannot afford to be out of position against Manchester City. I've watched Mac Allister over the international break, as well as all season, obviously. He is not and cannot be, in the same way that I've said in times gone by, Thiago is not a 6 in the Premier League. Mac Allister cannot be your 6 in the Premier League for a couple reasons. He loses his head. He gets frustrated. He is slow. He is slow. And he gets driven out of place because he wants to get into the attacking positions. And then, especially in this game, you cannot leave any gaps at the back. I believe that for this game, I would like Klopp to give Wataru Endo the nod. But not just the nod. Not the nod in just saying that he's going to be an isolated six. I would go 4-2-3-1. Especially in times when we're out of possession. We've seen the double pivot being exercised by Dominic Szoboszlai. He can do it. He has the pace, the tenacity, and the all-around midfield prowess to play in the double pivot. I'd play a double pivot with him and even Curtis Jones. And then above them, I would use Cody Gakpo in the 10. Because in recent times, his form is just excellent, to be honest with you. And if Nunes wasn't so good, and if Salah wasn't performing, and Jota wasn't performing, then he would be a lock. But this is high-level football. And you have to earn your place back when you lose it. And that's for everybody. Now, I don't see Klopp going with a 4-2-3-1. Not in a game like this. It's very rarely that we see Klopp change strategies mid-season. He does not like going away from the 4-3-3. What we cannot afford is that if we're going to play Manc at the 6, Trent has to be told this is not a game for inversion. He has to play out and out, right, capital BACK, back. He has to play right back. Because we seemingly do not have Konate for this game. I'm waiting for confirmation on this. I pray to God we do, because if we have his pace in terms of covering, it makes me feel a little bit better. But even then, this is not the game for inversion. This is the game to make midfielders do what midfielders do. This is not the game to create gaps on the right-hand side of the field with Jeremy Doku. This is not the game to be arrogant. This is the game to be practical. This is the game to mount a title challenge. We can take momentum from this game and mount a title challenge. Losing this game, however, puts us also back into the mix. This is going to be one of the tightest top 6 seasons ever recorded. And outside of mistakes of VAR, which is already trying to get ratings up through viewership, we cannot afford to make mistakes on the football field, especially tactical ones. He has to stay home. Trent has to stay home. I believe Van Dijk pockets Haaland. I'm not worried about Erling Haaland too much. I am worried about the supply chain to Erling Haaland. We have to make Manchester City work in the midfield. We have to make Bernardo Silva run back. We have to make Rodri start the play for Manchester City closer to their 18-yard box. We have to make players like, if he plays, that guy from Wolves, what's his name again? Jeez. Kovacic and Nunes and what's his name? Fernandes. Or no, Nunes. Sorry. We have to force them to play the physical side of football. We have to make them work. That midfield for Manchester City does not like work. They like finesse. We must make them work. That's the only way to win. And if we make them work, we win in convincing fashion. I believe there has to be a lot of balls behind early. Not necessarily to make Darwin score, but to give the threat so that the back line pushes closer back to the goalkeeper, and hence the start of their play is further back. We cannot sit back and allow them to run on us. Our defending is not that good. The press will win us the game. This is a game for work rate, high intensity, gang pressing. This is not a game to be a Picasso team. It's not an intricate game. And this is why I go back and saying this is not a McAllister game. This is a game for Endo, for the dirty players. This is a game for guys that want to run around, your Curtis Jones. This is a game for people that will run for 90 minutes non-stop, your Dominic Zabaslais. This is a game for players that will take chances right away. And that's where I call out Darwin Núñez. This game is a game for clinical behavior. This is the marquee game. This is the rivalry game. This is the title game. And the only way to say that we're title challengers is to make our stamp. This is a game for elite tactical decisions. This is a game for one word and one word only. Discipline. Discipline in your role. Trent. This is a game for work rate. Salah has to track back. This is our statement game for the season. This is also a game that I'm confident we're going to win. I'm so confident we're going to win this game that my score prediction for this game is going to be 1-3 in favor of the Reds. I believe Salah scores a double, and I believe Núñez scores one. I believe the man of the match will be Dominic Zabaslai. Just because of the industry, the work rate that I expect. And I believe that after this game, I will feel confident enough to look on my fellow Liverpool fans and say, ladies and gentlemen, hang on to your hat. We are now officially title challengers. My name is Gio. This is the Ball and Breakfast Podcast. You have a lovely day. Goal!